Hi, this is Andy Hoffman of CryptoGoldCentral.com and the World Crypto Network. It's Thursday, March 7th, again, as today's second crypto audio blog is in response to the news that the US government finally exposed its fear of the growing Bitcoin phenomena through an SEC press release about the likelihood of a potentially dramatic crackdown on cryptocurrency exchanges. That said, they not once used the taboo name of their mortal political, social, and monetary nemesis, Bitcoin, or for that matter, even cryptocurrency, but instead the less innocuous digital assets, given just how scared, rightfully so, they are of Bitcoin. The reason being that for the same reason I have never heard a high government official mention gold, they fear that simply putting its name in the public eye will give it publicity. In the release, they essentially claimed that many exchanges do not meet SEC listing or regulatory requirements, in essence, offering securities without adhering to the rules of the securities industry. To which I agree 100%, as Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and others are offering unregistered securities in unregulated markets without specific government approval. Then again, while ICOs are unquestionably securities, how can a decentralized global computer protocol meet that definition? More importantly, what impact would the worst case scenario, which in my view would be closer to a best case scenario of a full exchange ban, have on demand? Perhaps they should check out what happened in China last fall, when, after the price plunged in identical fashion as it did this morning from 4,000 to 3,000, it sharply reversed, heading to $20,000 3 months later. Not that this is necessarily what will happen here, of course. However, the fact that the final government with a major influence over financial markets finally showed its fear is a major Bitcoin bullish event. The reason being that the sooner the world realizes a government of just 4% of its population is powerless to stop or even slow Bitcoin, the more rapidly it will marginalize it, just as it did when the Chinese attempted to ban trading, or heck, when the South Korean government simply brought up the possibility of a trading ban. The way I see it, in nations like South Korea and Japan, and likely China too, banning cryptocurrency would be like banning the national pastime, like, say, baseball, of which, whether the government is a dictatorship like China or a democracy like South Korea or Japan, the result would be disastrous, as citizens would find myriad other ways to purchase Bitcoin, partly for financial survival and partly as a potentially viral political statement. Recently, I've spoken of how, in the post SegWit world, in which essentially everything has been thrown at Bitcoin but the kitchen sink, there is literally nothing to fear going forward, meaning nothing could stop Bitcoin from growing and nothing can split or damage its network. That said, I and nearly all the Bitcoin community's leaders have spoken ad nauseum of the inevitability of scared governments lashing out, most notably the one with the most to lose from Bitcoin's usurpation of fiat currency, the United States. In fact, I all but guaranteed it would be a 2018 event, given how rapidly Bitcoin's market cap, adoption rate, and technological advancement has progressed, amidst a global economy experiencing exploding debt, money printing, political instability, and social angst. That said, is the regulation of cryptocurrency markets such a terrible thing? I mean, if they were punished for their wrongdoings, like say Coinbase for its hideous insider trading scandal involving Roger Ver, CNBC, and Bcash, in which they're being sued by multiple parties right now, I might add, perhaps they'd be trusted more. Not that it matters in Coinbase's specific case, given how much market share it has lost from that event alone, let alone its support of SegWit 2x and refusal to adopt SegWit despite supporting SegWit 2x until this month, or for the exchange industry as a whole, given how it will itself be marginalized by decentralized trading platforms within a year or two, let alone the big pink elephant in the room of the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is not a US or Chinese phenomenon, but a global protocol that billions have access to, 96% of which could care less what the US government wants. Not to mention, if cryptocurrency exchanges everywhere were banned, it would not only make Bitcoin that much scarcer, yielding much larger premiums in over the counter markets like localbitcoins.com, but it would eliminate the single most detrimental aspect of cryptocurrency trading, i.e., the margin lending that enables short selling. Ultimately, Bitcoin will trade nearly entirely in markets devoid of short selling, and the faster crypto exchanges are banned or marginalized, the faster we reach this utopian era. And trust me, if you think banning something everything wants will reduce demand, do a little research on alcohol during Prohibition. let alone something that can only be banned in limited parts of the world, which can be easily purchased elsewhere. As for the remaining major governments, China has already taken its best shot at crypto and failed. Japan has fully embraced it. South Korea gave up trying to regulate it due to a popular uprising, and Australia and the UK were laughed at, leaving the US and the European Union. As for the US, my guess is that once the Bitcoin market gets over today's knee jerk reaction, particularly amongst leveraged margin traders, to sell without any regard for the actual ramifications, prices will start rising anew as the overhang of potential US government action is lifted and the Wall Street put is seen for what it is. Lastly, there's the European Union, which, particularly in the aftermath of the disastrous anti establishment Italian election result, will be fighting countless other political battles, will never be able to agree on a continent wide cryptocurrency policy, let alone a negative one, given that perhaps half of its members, like for instance Bulgaria, are likely staunch cryptocurrency supporters. Of course, the biggest lesson to learn from today's initial salvo into the government's Don Quixote like attempts to flail at the Bitcoin windmill is that you should hold your own private keys, i.e., not on an exchange like Coinbase. As if you do, who cares if the exchange even exists? This is the beauty of Bitcoin, in which no government can stop you from using it, no matter what decrees they enact. In time, most governments will likely support it anyway, given that the wisest course of action when approached by a tsunami is to run. But until then, so long as you hold your private keys, you are immune from Big Brother government's attacks. Thanks and have a great crypto day.